The students, today we are discussing the various concepts of cost and revenue. What is the meanings of the term cost? The term cost is generally used for the cost of production. And what is the cost of production? The cost to produce a certain quantity of a commodity. The expenses which are incurred in order to produce a certain quantity of a commodity. Well, you know that we produce goods with the help of four factors of production, that is land, labor, capital, and organization. If we add the rewards of these four factors in the form of which we pay in the form of rent, wages, interest, and profit, to all the sum of all these rewards may also be called the cost or total cost. This total cost may be total fixed cost or total variable cost. Or you may say that total cost is the combination of total fixed cost and total variable cost. Now, what is total fixed cost? In the previous lectures, we discussed that in short run there are some fixed factors and some variable factors. Variable factors are those factors which can be changed in short period, and fixed factors are those factors which we cannot change in short period. So what is the total fixed cost? The fixed cost is that cost which is of permanent nature. Either you are producing or not producing, short run or long run, so this cost remain fixed. For example, the cost of electric meter, the rent of electric meter, similarly rent of building, salaries to permanent staff. So you have to incur these expenses even if you are producing nothing. So at zero production level you bear such cost. So this is the fixed cost. Variable cost means that cost which vary with the level of production. If you increase the production, it increases. If you decrease the production, it decreases. For example, the cost of raw material, the cost of electricity, the daily wages to workers. So all such expenses may be called variable cost, and some of these expenses means total variable cost. What is average cost? Total cost per unit of output is called average cost. So we produce certain quantity within a certain period of time. We know what are our total expenses. So if we divide the total expenses, total cost by the units produced or quantity produced, this is average cost. This is the cost of one unit. So total cost divided by quantity, this is the average cost. Average cost includes average fixed cost and average variable cost. Now next, marginal cost. We discussed earlier the concept of marginal product. Here the concept of marginal cost. What is the marginal cost? The same way as we discussed in marginal product, the addition to the total cost when one more unit is produced. The addition to the total cost. For example, if we are producing 100 units and our total cost is 9,000, if we add one more unit to our output, which means that we start producing 101 unit. If our total cost increases from 9,000 to 9,500, it means that the cost of producing one more unit is rupees 500. So it is the marginal cost. We may also define marginal cost as the cost of last produced unit. The cost of last produced unit. As in the last we have produced 101th unit and the cost of 101th unit is 500, so the marginal cost is 500. Clear? Now come to the concepts of revenue. What is the total revenue? So this is another aspect. Cost relates to producer and revenue relates to seller. So what is the total revenue? So when we have produced certain quantity of a commodity, so the phase when we produced, that is the phase of production. Now the phase of sale, when we start selling the same quantity to outsiders, so what we are receiving from them, that is called revenue or total revenue. For example, if we are selling the 100 units that we have produced earlier for rupees 10,000, 12,000, this is our total revenue. So the total revenue is the sale proceed or total receipt which a producer or a firm receives by selling a certain quantity of a commodity at any price or at certain price. The amount of total revenue is calculated by multiplying the quantity sold with the price. देखिए TR is equal to price into quantity sold, P into Q. P stand for price, Q stand for quantity sold. Here in the example quoted here, a firm sold 1000 meter of cloth at rupees 50 per meter. The total amount of sale proceed will be TR is equal to P into R. Rupees 50 into 1000, it becomes rupees 50,000. Clear? Now average cost. Average revenue. Total revenue per unit of quantity sold is called average revenue. So average revenue is obtained by dividing the total revenue by units sold. TR over Q, quantity sold. Here in the example, the amount of total revenue by selling 100 units of toothpaste is 5,000. The average revenue will be TR, which means 5,000, divided by 100. It comes 500. So the average revenue is 500. Now come to the next slide. It is marginal revenue. Again, the concept of marginal means the last unit. What is the revenue of the last unit? So what we have sold in the last, the amount is called marginal revenue. So if we define marginal revenue, it may be defined as the addition to the total revenue by selling one more unit of a commodity. This is marginal revenue, and we obtain marginal revenue how? The change in total revenue divided by change in quantity sold. Take an example. The total revenue by selling 100 pieces of toothpaste is 5,000. It increases to rupees 5,040. So which means that by selling 101th unit, there is an addition of rupees 40. So this 40 rupees will be the marginal revenue. Clear? So these are the various concepts of cost and revenue. Students, I described these concepts of cost and revenue in order to understand the various forms of market. So just for the introduction, we take the start. What is market? Generally, market means a public place in a town where goods are exposed or offered for sale. Buying and selling takes place. This is the place. This is the general concept of market. But in economics, the term market has been defined in a different way. It refers to the whole of the area or region in which buyers and sellers are in such a close contact with one another that the price of the same commodity tends to be equal easily or quickly. It means that market does not mean a specific area. It may cover a wide area, maybe a country, maybe the whole world. So where buyers and sellers are in such a close contact. Close contact does not mean that you are physically present at one place. This close contact may be through any communication means like television, like Facebook, like newspaper, magazine. So any media that comes the buyers and sellers closer. So this is the close contact between buyers and sellers. So buyers and sellers are in such a close contact that the price of the same commodity tends to be equal. So in that area, in that region, the price of the same commodity is same. Take the example of medicines. If you buy medicine from any market in Lahore, Gujranwala, Islamabad, Karachi, Quetta, these medicines are available at the same price, which means that this is a single market. The whole Pakistan is single market, is a market for the medicine. Now let's come to the essentials of a market. The first point is a commodity which is dealt with. So definitely, if there is no commodity, there will be no concept of market. The concept of market relates to the commodity which is dealt with. The presence of a commodity is necessary. The second is existence of buyers and sellers. Again, these are the two stakeholders, buyer and seller. One who will buy the commodity, seller who will sell the commodity in the market. So both the buyers and sellers should be present, should exist. The third one is a place which may be a certain region, a country, or the entire world. As I just told you, that if the same commodity is available in the same area at one price, this is one market. It may be a city, it may be a town, it may be a province, it may be a country, it may be the whole world. For example, gold is available throughout the world at the same price, usually in dollar or rupee. So this is the entire world is called a single market for the gold. In most of the cases, the market of milk, fresh meat, vegetables, this is a local market, because vegetable comes from the nearest area and is sold in the nearest market. So this area is a market. Normally, the perishable goods have limited size of market, small size of market. On the other hand, the durable goods have wider market. Take the example of fan. Fan is being manufactured in Gujranwala or Sialkot or Gujarat, but these fans are being marketed throughout Pakistan, and sometimes we are exporting to other countries. So the whole area where we are dealing with these fans, this is the single market. Next one is close contact between buyers and sellers, which ensures one price for the same product at the same time. So I just told you that there should be a close contact between buyers and sellers, and this close contact does not mean that both are physically present at the same place. Any mean of communication may bring the buyer and seller closer. That develops the contact, close contact between buyers and sellers. So what is the benefit of this close contact? If you know that this commodity is available at some other place at less price, you will go there and buy that commodity. Due to this reason, the seller never attempts to charge high price, because he knows that if he charges high price, so the buyer may go to other place. So this close contact between buyers and sellers, this brings the price same throughout the product, throughout the area at the same time. Now let us come to the factors which determine the size of market. Well, these are the factors. First, nature of demand. So if the demand is greater, there will be a large size of market, and if the demand is smaller, the size of market will be small. This is very simple to understand, that if people are creating greater demand for any commodity, the size of market will be large, and if there is less demand from the buyers, so the size of market will be small. The second is nature of commodity. Nature of commodity, as I just told you, that the size of market of durable goods is larger as compared to perishable goods, because perishable goods are generally traded within a limited area. So this is the small size of market. As the durable goods are traded, are being marketed in the whole Pakistan, even in other countries, so the market becomes large. The next is means of transport and communication. If these means are well developed in a country, the size of market will be larger. On the other hand, if the means are less developed or underdeveloped, this would mean that you are not marketing your product at large. So you have a small size of market. Next is weight and value. If the commodity you are selling that is less valued and bulky, the size of market will be small. Take the example of bricks, husk. So this is small size of market for these products. And if the value of your product is greater and the weight is less, so you would have the large size of market like gold. Next is scale of production. If you are producing the product at large scale, the size of market will be large. And if the scale of production is small, which means you are producing at small level, so you would be selling within a small area, which means small size of market. Next is peace and security. Peace and security also determine the size of market. If there is peace and security in a country, the size of market will be large. And if there is the situation otherwise, which means there is disturbance in the country, the size of market will be small. People would not be marketing their outputs comfortably in all the areas, which means small size of markets. Next is policy of the government. If the policy of the government is supportive, government is providing tax relief, export bonus, so the size of market will be large. On the other hand, if the policy of the government is non-supportive, no credit facility, no tax relief, no export refinance facility to the exporter, it means that the size of market will be small. Next is banking system. So if you have a well developed banking system, your money market is well developed, the credit facilities are available to the producers, exporters, the size of market will be large. On the other hand, if the money market, the banking system is less developed, the size market will be small. So thank you very much for today's lecture.